Hello everyone, my name is Michael Sebulak and I welcome you to my e-portfolio, which is the capstone project from my experience within the University of British Columbia's MET program. I began my journey in the Masters of Educational Technology program in January of 2017 and am completing the final course in December of 2018. As an English language arts teacher in Williams Lake, British Columbia, I came to the program hoping, in amongst other things, to gain a better understanding of how technology is changing the working definition of text and literacy within modern high school English classrooms. Another overarching goal that I hope to achieve was to gain an understanding of the way in which old, new, and emerging technologies within education can be purposeful to the preservation, appreciation, and evolution of First Nations culture. My third goal was to continue to utilize technology in creative ways that are reflective and provide growth to the development of my character and personality in addition to those of my students. All of these initial goals are of course evident within the pre-writing section of my webpage. At the end of my MET journey, I was asked to find a metaphor that could help one understand and appreciate my entire experience within the program. A good metaphor is a way of bridging the gap between what the audience knows about a familiar subject and what the audience is expected to know about an unfamiliar subject. In choosing my metaphor, I realized that there is an inherent danger in using cliché metaphors for comparisons, as the similarities have either already been drawn or are obscured by our previous encounter with the metaphor. For example, there's no utility left in comparing anything to a summer's day if one is familiar with the metaphor. A good metaphor should be original and allow the viewer to partake in the experience through fresh eyes and help the audience better understand how I, and only I, assimilated and understood the experience. This truly seems to me like a constructivist approach to finding and representing meaning. Constructivism was also the theoretical framework that helps shape both my e-portfolio and my metaphor. And as we shall see, principles of social constructivism are certainly inherent within my choice of metaphor to help explicate my entire MET experience. The 5 steps of the writing process acknowledge that writing is a deliberate and rational procedure that one undergoes when seeking to find, represent, and share meaning. In the MET program, I sought to find, represent, and share meaning concerning the relationship of technology to education. Throughout the program, and within this e-portfolio that is reflective of my experience within the program, the textual products that I'm continually developing is composed of a number of interrelated or hypertextual documents and other such representations, not only connecting my pre-MET understanding to my post-MET understanding, but also connecting it with the understanding and experience of many others. And in the process of doing so, I am revising, rejecting, or accommodating what others contribute, just as I am certain they are doing with my textual contributions. It is ridiculous to think of text, an essay, a book, or an e-portfolio as a singular, disparate entity that was born from one singular individual and stands on its very own foundation. Singular texts always reside in a larger social and textual context. In short, I believe that the writing metaphor situates my experience in both a paradigm that acknowledges the uniqueness of me, the writer, as found within the pedagogical tenets of constructivism, while simultaneously acknowledging the culture in which the writer is immersed, as illustrated within the tenets of social constructivism. So because my metaphor from my MET experience is a writing process, I sought to structure it within the linear form that most people are familiar. However, it should be acknowledged that this linear structure erroneously characterizes a process. As mentioned numerous times throughout the site, the writing process is iterative, just like my MET experience, as I, just like any writer, frequently went back to any of the various 5 stages in my efforts to develop the comprehensive text of my MET experience. I would even hate to say that my experience began at the pre-writing stage. As I've explained later in the website, the publishing stage may just as well be the starting point for someone's writing journey. Nonetheless, humans are seemingly wired for certainty and find it a precarious experience to stand in ambiguous or vague territory. So within the developing text of my MET experience, my pre-writing stage is reflected primarily within the many activities and experiences that I did prior to enrolling in the MET program and leading to my initial foundational understanding to each course throughout the program. Essentially, I reviewed a number of texts, many of them which I brought to my MET experience, and I used my understanding of these texts as a foundation in which to expand upon. An example of this could be the many texts in which I benefited from as a product of my personal life and teaching experiences. In the writing process, after pre-writing, we have drafting, and this is the metaphorical equivalent to the process wherein I initially explored the relationship of technology to education within all courses throughout the MET program, but primarily through the 4 core courses. Here I drafted an understanding of core concepts and their relationship to the use of technology in education. Next, we have the process of revising, and revising within my comprehensive MET text is not unlike that commonly acknowledged within the writing process. This is illustrated when I changed, rejected, accommodated, or clarified my initial thoughts and ideas that were illustrated in my first drafts or initial understandings, which was largely a product of my pre-MET experience, and the core courses are foundational courses within the MET program. Next, we have proofreading, which illustrates the process whereby I had my evolving text of the MET program carefully scrutinized by others and myself, so that I knew that I had not only recorded my thoughts for my own consumption, but that these thoughts were presented in a manner that rendered them comprehensible and valid to others. Lastly, we have publishing, where I share with peers, colleagues, my students, and others what I believe are to be finished texts representing my understanding of the MET experience. I'm hoping that the publishing phase within my MET experience becomes a pre-writing phase within my future. I hope that I continually draft new understanding, revise according to need, so as to have my work proofread by critical eyes so that I may once again publish anew. It should be noted that the publishing is both the finish line and the starting line for the development of text. Once I had finished the program and published some portion of my ever-evolving text of the MET experience, the program has afforded me insight to wherein I need to travel next within my professional life. It is this insight which perhaps I am most grateful for, as a good text is not so much about the answers it provides, but the thoughtful questions it promotes. I hope you enjoy exploring the site, and I thank my wonderful professors, fellow students, and the many other experts on the About page under References who greatly contributed to my MET understanding.